Nightflyers, you crazy son of a bitch, you did it. You broke me.
You son of a bitch.
I was planning to do an ending explain video for you, but then you had to do this to me.
That's gotta hurt.
Yes, for those of you who've been around my channel for a while, you've probably seen some of my Nightflyers videos pop up, and in all honesty, I thought this show had something going for it. The first few episodes, although not perfect, were fun and promising, but things started to take a turn. It's like, have you ever met someone and they seem kind of cool and you enjoy spending time with them, then all of a sudden they do like one weird thing and you kind of brush it off and try to forget about it, but then a few days later they do something even weirder until you're invested too deep and realize you're dating Gary Busey? That's Nightflyers. So what I want to do here is dissect this mess so that George R. R. Martin can go back to doing God's work. Nightflyers is essentially the tale of a crew being sent out to make contact with an alien force, the Volcran, in the hopes that it may hold the key to save Earth, which is dying. That's the basic premise of the show. I think it's pretty cool, I just wish the writers didn't forget about it. You see, the most compelling aspect of this premise is the save humanity part. Those are the stakes, it's what's going to keep me invested, yet almost every character in the show at one point or another puts their own self-interests ahead of all of humanity. Arguably, the biggest threat to this mission is the AI, Cynthia, and what does the second-in-command, Augie, do? Smashes the crystal, which would have trapped her for good, because love, I guess.
I will always love you, little bear.
Lamy lets young Cynthia live, even though she's just an AI, and that totally backfires. Rowan tries to break the decontamination chamber, which would kill everyone on board. Agatha comes on the ship, even though she knows that two L's in close proximity with one another can cause serious problems. Carl cares more about spending time with his daughter in the memory sphere than helping the frickin' captain of the ship who could die at any moment. It's as if every character has forgotten why they're here. Forgotten about the billions of humans back home who are counting on them. But let's get down into the nitty-gritty, shall we, and pick apart some of the things that make absolutely no sense, turning what could have been a great series into a pile of space garbage. From its inception, Nightflyers was billed as a psychological horror in space, but it's not really a horror at all. At least for the first few episodes, there was some mystery behind the visions, and who exactly is controlling the ship leaves us with a bit of suspense. But once Cynthia is revealed as the source, all that tension evaporates. Take the scene where Carl sees his dead daughter in the corridor. Should be scary, right? Oh yeah, if it weren't for Rowan right behind him saying, "Oh, don't worry about that, she's just a harmless vision." Where's the horror in that? With the exception of perhaps the Thanos dissolving baby, there's really no horror after that. And let me tell you, that baby is problematic. We'll get to that in a bit. Next point. Big character reveals are almost completely glossed over. Roy is a robot? No one cares. Agatha is an L? So what? Mel finds the person responsible for genetic mutation? Yawn. What I'm getting at here is these revelations have huge psychological and emotional ripples that will affect how the characters will interact with one another and the choices they will make both as individuals and as a team. Yet these big reveals are glossed over insanely quickly. Oh, and is it just me, or did Carl get over the fact Agatha had a baby with him really quickly and it's never even brought up again? Even more frustrating is how Nightflyers takes common tropes and rather than make them new or provide a fresh take, they become derivative. Here's a quick list. Red crazy AI like Hal in 2001: A Space Odyssey. The crazy axe murderer like The Shining, or perhaps you prefer the sci-fi version, Sunshine. Hidden robot mysteriously working for a company? Alien. Seeing visions in a sphere? Contact. Weird organic stuff with teeth in it? David Cronenberg's Existence. Someone warning people to get out? Get out. There are even a bunch of plot points that are just simply dropped, like Agatha and Carl's baby, Joy's response to Carl's divorce, the probe containing Carl's DNA, how can she control the bees, where can I get the best space hot dog? And are we just going to forget that 8 months passed? Now I understand we need to show the passing of time as we get closer to the Volcran, but it felt like the real reason for this time lapse was just to show Tessia's baby disintegrate. And the baby thing leaves unanswered questions too. How did it manifest itself like that? How come no one else was affected? And if it was the Volcran, how come people like Carl and Rowan who actually touched pieces of it didn't get infected? Why would the Volcran do this? What is its purpose? None of these are answered, and it all seemed like an extremely convoluted way to get Rowan to go mad. But hey, we got a cool disintegrating baby. This is also a world where you can make 3D printed food, cure third-degree burns in a few days, genetically tailor DNA, and yet everything has to be manually overridden, and the brilliant plan to get into Eris's cabin is to steal poop manually from a pipe. Yeah, that happened. Not to mention, the ship has a function where you can just simply blow up part of it. Why? Why is that a thing? That's a serious hazard if, say, someone were to go crazy in love with an AI? Why does Rowan go mad after the death of his child? Millions of people lose loved ones every year and they don't go on murdering sprees. Carl didn't after Agatha. Was it the teak energy that made him do it? If so, how come this wasn't telegraphed earlier on and building him up with, say, bleeding eyes or visions? And then at the end, he's like back to his normal self again. Even more insane is Carl recruits him because
he's the only one who understands how the Vulcan works.
How? This is a guy who just went on a killing spree, and all he's done with the Vulcan is probe it with some tongs and run a few DNA tests. Why is Roy's robot body back in his room? The ship is literally getting destroyed, and someone's like, I should take this robot back to get some rest. Does no one else care their captain was a robot this entire time? And why isn't Mel like, WTF, you were a robot? Like, if I were her, I'd have so many questions. So many questions. Is it just me, or for the last 3 episodes, Lamy just kind of chills in the pipes by herself, the one person who can manipulate and control the entire ship through her body, and she's like barely checked up on? If Cynthia could just transfer her consciousness into a real body like she did with Lamy, then why not do that since the very beginning? Seems a lot more convenient, and she could probably do a lot more damage. There were at least a half dozen or more scenes where there are big catastrophic things happening to the ship, and some of them have scared extras running around while others have none. It makes it seem like some days they couldn't afford extras. And are we really to believe that on this entire ship there's only one escape pod that literally holds just one person? This is like the Titanic of spacecrafts.
It seems that there are not enough for everyone aboard.
Thale, whose powers are insane right now, who can tell Carl where to go telepathically, jump out of his own body, and communicate with an alien being, can't tell Carl he's about to get whacked in the back of the head. Mel is touted as being this genetically superior being, but seriously, how does this affect the story other than that one scene where she can withstand the radiation longer, even though Roy could have fixed it himself since he's a robot? But then later on we see Augie and Murph just chilling in there, no problem. Did the radiation disappear? And finally, my biggest complaint. There's no ending. We spend 10 episodes with these characters, and we just leave them. No closure, with maybe the exception of Carl, but even that is ambiguous and open to interpretation. And don't get me wrong, open/ambiguous endings are fine, that is if they have something they're trying to say. A bigger thematic question to leave the audience pondering, like most great sci-fis do. But Nightflyers didn't give us that. Instead, we got masturbating cannibal women. Thanks for watching, everyone. I hope you'll give this video a like, share, and all that fun stuff. I've got more videos planned, so make sure you're subscribed to get all the latest Think Story videos. And remember, Daddy loves you very much.